Hello and welcome to Rolling with Reviews. I'm Will, and with me as always is the person who gets lost up the river.
Sarah.
The Ganges River.
I get lost anywhere, so yes.
And today we're doing a review of Rajas of the Ganges, Roll and Write the Dice Charmers. Sarah, tell us a bit about this game.
All right. Players use 8 dice with different symbols to develop their province, gather goods, sell them at the market, win over influential personalities in the palace, and sail up and down the Ganges River. To win this race, you must be the first to have your fame marker and your money marker intersect on the 2 tracks that run in opposite directions. All right, Will, so why did we get this?
So we knew about the big game, Rajas of the Ganges. And we've always just kept an eye out for it. Then you heard enough people talking about the Roll and Write version being a very good implementation of that, in kind of a distilled version.
Right.
So we finally got it in Math Trade like last year.
Yeah, I think it was last year.
Yeah, and we got around to playing it.
We finally did. Woohoo!
We're on top of the game.
Yes, this is why part of why we do this channel, to get our games played.
Yes.
So, what do we like about the game? There's a lot to do.
Yes, there is a well, considering the fact that there are 4 different colors of dice, each color represents a different section on your board that you can interact with, and all those sections interact with one another.
Yes.
That just tells you how much depth and variety there is to do in the game whenever you're making any sort of choice.
Yes.
So it just becomes this really great crunchy roll and write.
Yeah, it really, if you like those crunchy roll and writes where you've got a lot of things to decide, this is definitely one of those. And there is some comboing. Like, there'll be turns where you're like, I gained goods. Okay, that wasn't like super exciting.
Yes.
But then there's times where like, I built a road and that let me go do something over in the palace, and then that let me get something I can move on the river. So you can get comboing going. It's just not all the time.
Yeah, there are elements that you can obviously set up for.
Yes.
And it makes a really good play when you pull the trigger on that. Like Sarah said, I built the road, which got me to the edge, which gets me this bonus, which is a person in the palace who gives me a bonus. I go to the market, I fill that in. That's the last thing I can do there that unlocks this bonus, which lets me go back to this section, which lets me go into the river, which lets me do something else, and then I'm finally done.
Yep. Yeah, and it feels good when you can get that going.
But it's not going to be all the time.
No, it is definitely not going to be all the time. And the game also doesn't overstay its welcome. So the good part about it being a race to the finish, the person who can get those kind of combos happening more than not is going to be getting the game to the finish, to the end, where there are 2 markers, because you have one that starts in the upper left and one that starts in the upper right, and they go down the sides and then they meet in the middle at the bottom of your sheet. And if you're the first person to cross, it triggers the end of the game, and then you just hope that you've got enough of a lead that you have crossed it the farthest.
We forgot, in the 2-player perspective and accessibility, there is one major change, and when that occurs, the crossing,
Oh, yeah.
the game automatically ends for a 2-player game.
That's true, it does.
In a multiplayer game, you play so that everybody has an equal number of turns.
Yeah, turns,
So apologies to the Rolling with 2 for this, this game.
I knew there was something else. Forgot it. But back to what we like about the game. Will really likes the cardboard elephant.
It's cool. It's 4 pieces. It has
5.
No, it's the back of the elephant.
2 legs.
2 legs, and then the head.
And the ears. The ears go on the head. The ears are not...
Oh, you're right. 5 pieces. But it also becomes this little platform, because one of the things you do is the first person that takes their turn takes a die, and then the other die that wasn't taken that's in the same color goes on the elephant's back.
So it's an overly elaborate piece for what it needs to be, but it is cute. My only concern is because there's no way to leave it in the box assembled, so you have to constantly take it apart, that it will wear down a little bit. Yeah. But on the other hand, you could leave it assembled and leave it somewhere on display too.
Sure.
That'd be cute. Also, because it's such a small game, it's nice and portable, so it's definitely a good to-go game.
Yes.
So what we don't like about the game. I personally am still not a huge fan of Race to the Finish. This is definitely included. There really aren't any catch-up mechanics, so if someone can get going ahead or get those combo turns going more often than not, there's just nothing you can do.
Of course, I've seen it where we get to the end of the game, we're not too far apart.
Yes, I'm saying is if when you have players of relatively equal skill level, it's going to be close games. I'm playing a couple of games against some people I know online, and I am not doing that well against them because they have played it a lot. And they're doing a really good job, and I am usually at least 3 to 4 turns behind in... Because the nice thing about the online implementation, it tells you at the top of your board how many spaces left before your lines cross.
Yeah.
So it's that nice little extra bit of information that's obviously not in the cardboard, table.
I mean, you could count it every single time.
But it's just funny because at the beginning, everyone's the same. And then as they take turns and they're getting a lot closer and I'm just inching forward because I'm not making the same decisions as they are. Anyways, so it really depends on the players that you have at the table for it. I do still think this, I do think this is good. We'll talk about that more in our actually personal opinion. But
yeah.
And then the other thing is, and we talked about this in our Rolling with 2 video, is the number of icons. It's just going to be very challenging to learn. Once you learn the game, it's not difficult because they do code things, pretty well. Yeah, pretty well.
In fact, you just recently realized that when it came to the palace, there's 6 different people.
Yes.
There's 3 on the top section and 3 on the bottom section. Well, you were looking at the dice that have the people. One die is the top section.
Yeah.
It only has those 3 people. The bottom section is the other die that has those 3 people.
Yeah, and that actually will make a difference when you go to use your karma to re-roll dice. And I'm pretty sure there were a couple of points for my online games where I was like, oh, I need this person. And I saw that there was a person die available. I didn't look close enough as to whether or not that die
would even give you the person you needed.
Would even give me the person I needed. Again, not that it mattered because I haven't won one yet, but let's move on to who this game is for. It's going to be those who like crunchy roll and writes already.
Yes.
This is going to be intermediate and above. I wouldn't recommend this for newer casual gamers. The whole concept of just the crossing paths is going to be confusing, let alone all the other choices.
Yeah, it has a lot going on for it.
Yes.
And the icons is essentially like learning a whole new language.
Yeah.
So those people who are familiar with Crunchy Roll and Writes and built themselves up to like that level, they'll be perfectly fine here.
Yes.
Anyone else, you might want to start with something a bit simpler and continue working your way up before you're ready for a game of this weight.
Yes, agreed. All right, our ratings.
So for our ratings, we each have 1d6 worth of ratings to give. 1 is low, 6 is high. We give a number, a reason why, add them together, and see what it rolled for us. Sarah, what did Rajas of the Ganges, Roll and Write, the Dice Charmers roll for you?
I really like the people that just call it Raja's Dice. I
bet you would.
I'm just going to
lazy person.
I am a lazy person. So Raja's Dice...
Rajas of the Ganges, Roll and Write.
Gets a 3 from me. I do like that it's a crunchy roll and write. I don't like that it's Race to the Finish. And just it's because, again, I kind of turtle, or I just don't quite yet know how to get those combo-tastic turns enough. I'm not sure. I'm not going to give up on the game. We're definitely going to keep it. I am looking forward to trying it some more. But with the games I have under my belt, I feel middling about it.
I see.
Yeah.
I give it a 4. This game came at the right time. I think we had come off of playing a roll and write that didn't quite work for us.
That's true.
And this one did. And the fact that we're also the same skill level at this game feels really good, especially at the 2-player count.
Yes.
Because our scores are like, well, I'm just 2 spaces away from crossing.
And I did win a game. Didn't I? One of our games? I feel like I won 1 and you won 1.
That might be the case.
Anywho, it felt better. That's
Yes.
for sure. Having a equal level skills.
Yes. So that's why I gave it a 4. Still not the... It's not the one that I'm going to go to for the best Crunchyroll and Write. But it is one that I wouldn't ever say no to.
Yep.
So, 7 out of 12. Not too
Bad.
shabby.
Yep.
Yes. And that will do it for us. And Sarah,
Yes.
what's with all the hate from the elephant?
I don't hate the elephant.
She said, let's not put it together this time. We'll just...
I don't like components that can get run down. That's really what it is.
I like components you can use.
I wish we could leave it assembled, stored in the box, but the box is too short. So,
That makes it portable.
But I don't want to put it on a shelf because then it'll get dusty. So I don't hate the elephant. I hate the design.
She hates the elephant.
I don't.
All right, and we've been Rolling with Reviews. And remember, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach out to us on the various social media platforms at
Rolling with Two. That's TWO. We are on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And on YouTube, please like and subscribe.
And if you have time, check out the other content Nanaman has found for you, because remember, he's rolling with you.